Mistakes. Thank you for coming into the office this morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, please call me Debbie.
Oh, okay. Were you able to find the office okay?
Not a problem, and lots of parking outside. Thanks.
Great. I see my secretary got you a glass of water. Is there anything else I can get you to make you feel comfortable?
No, thank you. That's fine.
All right. Well, I'm just going to close the door so we're not interrupted. And
Thanks.
introduce me to you. My name is Sarah Innes, and I work for the lawyer at this firm who represents the woman that was hit on the bicycle, Donna. And as you know, you witnessed that incident where
That's right.
she was on her bicycle and she was hit by a car driven by Velda Kisner. So our
Correct, yeah.
firm represents Donna Chang in a legal action that she has commenced against the driver of the car
Okay.
for this accident. So this initial interview will take about 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you to tell me first your recollection of the events of
Sure.
what you witnessed of the accident, and then I'll ask you some more detailed questions. Make sure that we've got all the information that we need to put together a statement.
Sure, that's great. I understand.
Then at the end, we'll finish up, make sure we have a plan for moving forward. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely fine. Happy to help.
Okay. So first of all, what can you tell me about what you witnessed?
Well, as you know, it was a couple of weeks ago now, in October, and I was just the end of October there. I was out for a jog after work along the seawall in Stanley Park. I usually run there, but as the weather's starting to get poor, there weren't actually very many people out that day. The weather was quite blustery, actually, and it was great to look at the water as the waves were all turning up. I was a little overwhelmed, actually. It was so beautiful. But as I was jogging along on the path, Donna came by me on her bicycle, which was a little bit annoying because I don't know if you know, but there's the jogging path and then there is a bicycle path as well as the road. So I didn't know why she was on the jogging path. It didn't really matter. There weren't that many people out anyway because of the poor weather. But she went by me, so no problem. I continued to jog, but was getting a little tired, so I actually kind of slowed down a little bit when all of a sudden I just heard a screech. And I turned and looked, and Donna on her bike, she was in the middle of the road, and this BMW, I think it was a BMW, had slammed on its brakes, and I watched as it hit Donna. It didn't send her flying or anything because the car had actually slowed down, but it did knock her over. And so I ran over to help her, and the driver, Velda, I think her name is, she came out of the car. We helped get Donna to the side of the road. I know a little bit of first aid, so I checked to make sure that she didn't have any broken bones or wasn't bleeding. She was in shock, of course, from being hit. And then Velda moved her car over to the side of the road and called 911. And I sat with Donna until the police and the ambulance came.
Okay. You mentioned that you were on the jogging path and Donna on her bicycle rode by you.
Yes. Yes.
So, can you tell me? You mentioned that also that you heard the screech, but just to confirm where you were in location to where the car hit the bicyclist, could you actually see?
Yes, I could. The road was straight ahead. There were no trees. I mean, I was actually looking out at the water while I was jogging, but because I heard the screech, that distracted me from looking out, and I saw the car actually slow down and hit Donna. But she and the car were on the road. At that point, she'd obviously gotten off the actual jogging path.
Okay, so they were ahead of you.
Correct. Yeah, probably
Right.
about 20 meters ahead of me by that. Oh, maybe a little more.
Okay. So I'm just gonna get into more details about the actual accident. You heard the screech,
Mhm.
and um, and then you said that caused you to look over, and um, what did you notice after you heard the screech and then saw the bicyclist, I would imagine, in front of the car laying on the road?
I actually saw in these situations, they always say it happens so fast, and it really, there was time between when I heard the screech, the car obviously was going too fast and had to slow down. I don't recall the speed limit signs. I'm jogging, not on the road. But there was enough time for me from hearing that screech to actually turn, and I did see the car, by this point going quite a bit more slowly, but Donna on her bike in the middle of the road, and Donna actually turned. She must have heard the screech too, and then the collision
Mm-hmm.
took place.
Is there anything else you can think of right at the accident?
At the scene there, no, Donna was so. She's obviously an avid cyclist because I remember when she went by me, and of course then spending some time with her after to make sure she was all right. She was fully decked in like riding gear, like she might have been training or something. I don't know. That didn't come up in our conversations, but she had reflective gear on, a helmet. All those
Mhm.
reflective stripes.
Right.
Certainly very
Quite
visible. Yeah.
Was there other cars around?
No other
Just-
cars, and I didn't see
Right.
anybody else.
Other cyclists?
I didn't see any other cyclists, no.
And approximately how far would you say you would have been away in distance-wise from the actual impact?
I was somewhere between, I would say, 20 and 30 meters away.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of
I'm just glad
at the accident?
that her, well, I don't know, haven't obviously seen her since, but it was good that her injuries at that point, she was complaining of chest pains, which of course had me worried, but the ambulance and police had come along, and pain in her legs, she said, but the impact of the car, I'm sure, would have done that.
Okay. So now I want to ask a little bit about the actual scene, like what was around,
Sure.
The environment. You said that it was a cold, blustery day. So what were the road conditions like?
Well, it had been raining, and of course, coming through there with the area that it is, the roads were wet. It wasn't team pouring, but the wind was howling, so it as it sometimes does, and I say the waves out on the ocean.
Right.
But no other cars, as because of where I had come from, I know that the car would have had to come around a bend, because I would have jogged, like the paths aren't parallel. So Donna and I would have come along that same path.
Okay.
So the bend would have been behind by 100 meters or so.
But you had a good vision of.
Could see everything forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this was a couple weeks ago in October, so I don't think you mentioned the time of day that this happened.
It was late afternoon after work and school. Well, school and then my part-time job. I think it was, well, it was before dark, so it was probably 4:30 when I left. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, around 4:30.
So Also, was there when Donna was crossing the road?
Mhm.
Did you notice if there was a crosswalk in the vicinity?
Well, I didn't notice one where she was, but I know that route really well, and there is a crosswalk further up, probably 50 to 70 meters further up, because I often take that crosswalk. But the accident happened before that, well before that.
Okay, so as as far as you can recall, you don't believe this accident happened within the crosswalk.
No, no, neither Donna nor the car nor I yet we're at the crosswalk. It's further up.
Okay. Anything else you can tell me about the actual scene of the accident?
Uh, Nothing I can think of.
All right. I think we have a little bit of time just to ask one more question.
Sure.
Sure. What can you tell me about yourself? You said you're I believe a student.
Yes, part-time
And
student.
so you're just out for your jog. Um, can you tell me how you were feeling that day, or
Sure. I like to run. Phys ed background. Really enjoy getting out as often as I can, and with the weather starting to turn at this time of year, you take the days when you can get them. It was a normal day for me. I had just wanted to get my run in before the end of the day. Um, yeah, I was a little tired at the end, but boy, when you come across the scene of an accident, you really get
Right.
regenerated.
Okay.
by it.
By chance, do you need glasses to see
No,
any
I don't.
distances, or you have very good eye vision?
I have good vision. Let's hope that lasts.
Okay.
Yeah, and no problem with my hearing or anything either.
Okay.
Healthy person.
Well, this has all been very helpful. Thank you for coming in and giving us some important information on this accident.
My pleasure.
Is there anything else you can think of at this point that you can tell me that might be important?
Nothing. I think I've given you
Okay.
what I know, but if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to.
Well, I think at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type up my notes from what we've talked about today, and take them to the lawyer, Mr. Potter, who will probably review them. And if we find that we need to ask you any more questions, we'll follow up with you. We'll contact you.
Sure.
And if you can think of anything else in the meanwhile, certainly give me a call, and I'll make a note of that.
Will do.
And,
no problem. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
Well, no, thank you. And I will see you to the lobby.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks again.
It was very nice meeting you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.